Hello everyone, my name is Bulba. As you all know, LevelUp Expo is going to be held in Las Vegas, Nevada, not this weekend, but next weekend, or actually it could be this upcoming weekend depending on whenever I post this, but it is going to be weekend starting with Friday, April 25th, so whenever that is, it could be this weekend, it could be next weekend, whenever that is, you know. Anyways, something that always goes on there is usually a Helluva Boss or Hazbin Hotel related panel. And something that is even more exciting is the fact that they have been announcing on Twitter and Blue Sky and stuff like that this will probably have some of the biggest announcements in the entire Helluverse leading up to now, which is really crazy to think about. And I wanted to take the time of this video to talk about some things that maybe they could potentially talk about. Now, keep in mind, anything I say here, I'm not saying that I genuinely think it's going to happen or that there's a good chance of it happening. It's all just speculation. Some of this stuff I know is very unlikely, but I just want to talk about, hey, what are the chances that this might happen or this might happen? Go back and forth. You know, you get the gist. I just want to get right into it, and I want to start off with the potential of announcements relating to Hazbin Hotel Season 2. Now, there's a lot of places they could go with this. They could be something as simple as a release date, which I know would still make a ton of people happy because it's something they can add to their calendars to look forward to. And just like me, I'm going to be all over that if that is true. Next is a little less likely when it comes to Hazbin Hotel Season 2, but the fact that they could potentially have a trailer of sorts done is not out of the question, but the fact that if it could be released, I don't know if it'll be ready by this upcoming weekend. It seems like it's too recent, but the possibility of a trailer is not out of the question. Even less likely is an actual preview of the first episode, but I think at least the release date is going to be the most probable out of all of these. Either way, no matter what they release relating to Hazbin Hotel Season 2, I'm going to be so excited. I'm pretty sure all of you will too. And it's just going to be wonderful. Next is Helluva Boss Season 3, something where I'll be waiting for, something that I feel like is honestly more likely than an announcement for Hazbin Hotel Season 2. No matter what happens, like I said, I'll be happy, but I think a Helluva Boss Season 3 release date is honestly more probable than a Hazbin Hotel Season 2 release date. Honestly, if we're feeling lucky, maybe even a Helluva Boss Season 3 trailer or a preview of the first episode. I don't know how far away they are into working on the show. I know for Hazbin Hotel, they're already recording the lines for like Season 3, which is crazy to me, but yeah, they're really ahead of their game. So I feel like a trailer or at least a release date for either of these two, it's definitely possible. I don't know if they're willing to release it this soon. Maybe like, I don't know if they want to jump the gun like they did with the Season 1 rollout, but hey, you never know. They could be way like already... as far as I know, Season 3 could already be finished recording for Helluva Boss, and I have no clue. Someone can fact check that in the comments if they want it from me, but hey, you never know. Helluva Boss Season 3, though, is something that many of us are looking forward to, and no matter what they release, it's going to be crazy. I'm so hyped because personally, I'm going to actually be at LevelUp Expo in a couple weeks. I'll post updates. Maybe some of you will see me there. Who knows what could happen. It'll be really fun, though. I feel like if they don't do actual announcements for Hazbin Hotel Season 2 or Helluva Boss Season 3, I think something that is a little more likely, though, are announcements relating to Helluva Boss shorts, which are things that they use to keep us entertained in between the gaps between episodes. I'm not trying to say that as like their filler or anything, because they're honestly really fun in my opinion. I really loved all of them, ranging from the first one with Sally Mae and Millie, which was actually previewed at the very first, or not very first, which is actually previewed at the last LevelUp Expo. The very first Helluva Boss short was previewed at the last LevelUp Expo. That's what I was trying to say. And then they also had other ones like the Antarctica one, the one with Emberlyn, the one with the Chupacabra. I think that was it. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, who knows? Maybe the next one will be announced at LevelUp Expo, and they might actually show it at the convention, just like how they did with the Millie and Sally Mae one back when it first premiered. Something that's going to be really interesting is there are going to be 3 Helluverse related panels at LevelUp Expo, one on Friday, one on Saturday, and one on Sunday. I'm going to try my best to be at each and every single one of them, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going to happen, because 3 is a lot, so I feel like I don't know whether to expect a ton of announcements or whether it's just going to be like a Q&A or like fun stuff, or if there's going to be a ton of announcements. But they did say biggest Helluverse announcement in forever, so hey, nothing's out of the question. I feel like I'm hoping for a premiere of something, at least of some sort. Because I remember last year, I did not go to LevelUp Expo. I went to San Diego Comic-Con, and they premiered like a storyboard with audio from like the first episode of Hazbin Hotel Season 2, where it showed Baxter and Charlie interacting in the hotel, which was really interesting to me, and I was so excited for that. So I'm hoping there could be something like that. These next announcements that are definitely possible, but some of them less likely than others. Something that I've seen a lot of people talking about, especially considering the usage of the word Helluverse in the announcements, is the potential for a Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss crossover. Now, something like this is going to be very difficult to pull off because obviously we know copyright works differently when one show is owned by Amazon Prime Video and A24 and one is just owned independently by Spindlehorse. But the possibility of a crossover is not impossible. It's just going to be very difficult to pull off. And although I do not really have any predictions off the top of my head of what something could be like this about, who knows, maybe they could visit the IMP building, they could visit the hotel. There's a lot of possibilities, trust me. And I don't know if that's going to be something that will be this year if it does get announced, or if an announcement like that will even come. But who knows? I'm just really excited because just thinking about the possibility of that is like genuinely something that so many of us have been looking forward to for forever. And although there's no confirmation at all over whether something like this is even in production right now, the possibility that maybe there could be confirmation of something like this in the works is really cool to think about. Next, I'm going to talk about another thing that a lot of us have been really wanting, especially considering something that happened last December with Helluva Boss, is the release of the entire Helluva Boss soundtrack on Spotify, Apple Music, and all the other streaming platforms for music. They released, I believe, what was it called? The Sinsmas Party one, and then the Merry Sinsmas, both on Spotify last December with the release of the Sinsmas episode. And that was surprising. That was the first ever Helluva Boss soundtrack to be officially released on like Spotify. And I'm not talking about all those ones where it's like the fake uploads or people like upload them as a podcast episode or something like that and you add to your playlist. No, I mean like official releases. I know there's like the sketch of the songs also that Sam Haft uploads to Spotify on his page, but those aren't the actual songs from the episode. Those are more like work in progresses or like his own versions of it. Pretty cool still, but it's not the official soundtrack, and I'm really hoping that more of the official soundtrack from both seasons 1 and 2 of Helluva Boss will be rolled out onto Spotify, and even when season 3 does eventually come out, those will be added to Spotify as the episodes release, which will be really awesome. Something that's also possible is the whether or not there will be a physical release of Helluva Boss, whether it be maybe like a CD or a vinyl record of the soundtrack, or maybe even like an actual box set of the first 2 seasons. Again, I don't know how possible that is, but it's definitely something that'd be really amazing to think about. Another thing I think this one's a lot less likely. It'll probably be something that'll be way more years down the line if it does ever end up happening. But the possibility of a Helluva Boss movie is technically not out of the question, but I think that's a lot more years down the line, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. Something that is cool and is very broad, so I think it's a lot more possible in terms of possibilities. That was a very redundant sentence, but you know what I'm talking about. The possibility of either a Hazbin Hotel or Helluva Boss related book of some kind, whether it be like an art book showing different art and sketches over the years from the shows of how it was made, work in progress and stuff like that, or maybe even an actual in-canon book, like maybe Stolas' Grimoire. That would be really cool to see, like have your hands on a physical copy of that with all the spells and stuff. It could be literally anything. There are a lot of possibilities with a book relating to the Helluverse, so who knows? And I know no matter what happens, I'll be tuned in. More stuff that's more general and a lot more probable is the release of new merchandise relating to the shows, whether it be at like your local Hot Topic, whether it be on their new stylish occult merch store, or even on the original Shark Robot merch store. I think anything like that would make sense. I think that's very likely that something like that will be announced, whether it be for Hazbin Hotel or Helluva Boss. They'll probably, I remember last year at San Diego Comic-Con, they did some stuff where it's like, oh, they announced new Hazbin Hotel merchandise at Hot Topic back when that was first rolling out. And they also gave around like free vouchers, if like depending on where you were seated, which was really cool. And yeah, I think no matter what happens, that's going to be amazing to get my hands on. New merchandise is always something to look forward to. Something that I feel like is less likely considering Helluva Boss, but I know other shows have done it when they have panels at conventions, is previewing like a new song from the show. Because I remember I was at this is like a while back, but like a few years ago, I was at a San Diego Comic-Con for panels relating to like more Disney cartoons like The Ghost of Molly McGee, Amphibian Owl House, and they had stuff like that. I know Amphibian Owl House normally have music, but Ghost of Molly McGee had its fair share, and I remember they premiered a song back at its Comic-Con panel like a while back. So maybe Helluva Boss, stuff like that will fall in their footsteps. Maybe they might show a little bit of a song, whether it's not even the actual episode and just the audio would be still perfect. I'm fine with that either way. But hey, I think anything relating to music or just any new content, honestly, is something to look forward to. Because another thing that I think is generally possible is just announcements of more actual lore that doesn't really spoil, but just old stuff like unanswered questions. Because obviously there's a lot of things they try to keep, like especially during their Q&A portions of the panels, they try to make sure they don't answer any questions that will spoil stuff. But if there's anything that they're not going to cover in a future episode, and it's just like relating to past episodes that people want more clarification about, just relating to like the actual lore or storyline of the show, I think anything relating to that is still something to look forward to, in my opinion, and I would be really excited to hear that. This next stuff is more like random and not like genuinely like together, but something that's also really looking forward to that I've been talking about in my community posts quite a fair amount is when we're going to be able to actually see the 2 remaining 7 deadly sins, Belphegor and Leviathan, actually in action. We saw their appearances in the Mastermind episode, but we have no idea what they sound like, and we have no idea what they're actually like in terms of their personality. We just saw like very small like bits and pieces of them. It's not a lot to go off of. We know Mammon might have a thing for Leviathan. We know Belphegor runs like the hospitals and surprised like the I remember Beelzebub was talking about her in the Queen Bee episode, but that's not really a lot to go off. Those are like more crumbs than anything when it comes to this, so who knows. I'm really excited to find out who their voice actors are going to be, because they both have really distinct appearances that I feel like only certain types of voices can fit those characters, but who knows, maybe they'll surprise us all. And yeah, it's going to be really cool. Another thing I know a lot of people might be looking forward to is content relating to certain ships, specifically ones like Stolas x Blitz, Moxxie and Millie, especially considering they have a kid on the way, which is still really crazy to think about, but I think a lot more things relating to Moxxie and Millie would be cool, especially like maybe shorts, stuff like that. Another one we haven't seen in quite a while that I would love to see more content of is Fizz and Ozzy. They are probably still my favorite ship in the series, if I'm being honest. Those 2 back-to-back episodes, the Oops one and the Mammon's musical one, were honestly 2 of my favorite episodes of the entire series, probably only behind Sinsemus. And I just, oh my god, whenever the next time we see Fizz and Ozzy on screen together is, I'm going to be like off the walls. Like, it's going to be the only thing I can talk about for a while. Delving away from ships, but just going into like more general lore, something I would really love to learn more about is just how the Ars Goetia in general functions, because there's still a lot of unanswered questions into it, like especially considering Octavia and Stolas are basically separated now. Like Stella and unfortunately Andrielphus have kind of control over Octavia, and I really hope they don't make any bad decisions that will like really negatively impact Octavia's life, because Octavia's already been through a hell of a lot, which is really unfortunate for someone who's her age. I believe she's still 17 in the series, and it sucks that she's going through all this shit, but I hope that things do get better for her. I hope that she can make amends with her father. Hope that she can get rid of Stella and Andrielphus for sure, because those 2 have 0 good intentions. I know Stolas wasn't exactly in the right for ditching her for Blitz. That was obviously a very bad move on his end, but it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like she definitely has a way better future with her father than her mother. It's not even a question. And generally, I don't know what else to really talk about in this video. I think just anything relating to content, I already said this multiple times, anything relating to new content will be amazing to look forward to. If you personally have anything also that you would like to see, let me know at LevelUp Expo, even if you're not going to be there, but just maybe like announcements that'll come out of it. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to see your like general theories or predictions for stuff that they could talk about the show, because there are theoretically infinite possibilities, because these panels have not happened yet. Only the people who are running these panels know what's going to be talked about there, and I think that's really interesting from a fan's perspective, that we have no idea what's going on, and whatever happens will absolutely blow our minds, and I'm all for it. But yeah, that's really all I had to say for the purpose of this video. I just want to say thank you so much for watching this. I know this is a bit longer than my average video. I spent more time talking here than I usually do, because usually I just talk about like a random theory or something, but this time I wanted to actually take the time to offer my predictions for LevelUp Expo, considering it's a big event, 3 days long, and I know there's also going to be a lot more panels. Like I know Glitch Productions having their panel at the studio behind like Murder Jones, The Amazing Digital Circus, and the all-new show Gaslight District, which is, I believe, just came out, if depending on when I upload this video, or if it hasn't just came out, it's going to come out very, very soon. But yes, that's really all I have to say for the purpose of this video. Remember, leave your comments below about like predictions of what you want to see there. I'm really interested in that. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to my current channel members for the constant support of my videos. I know I've been really inconsistent with my upload schedule lately, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. I hope to make more content at LevelUp Expo, and even after that, I have a lot more stuff that I really want to show you guys that I've been working on. It's going to be really amazing. But yes, I want to give a huge shout out to my current channel members for the constant support. Skibbity Pomni, Meggie Luna, Billy Snowball, and Kiana Buns. Genuinely thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I don't know how motivated I would be to make this content if it weren't for you guys. And if you would like to purchase a channel membership to help support content on this channel and stuff like that, It's only $5 a month. You got to click the join button below. It's right next to the subscribe button. I don't know if it shows on mobile, but it definitely does show on computer. And I'm sure there's a way to find it on mobile. But yeah, if you want to find out the latest updates regarding LevelUp Expo as soon as they're happening, join my Discord server. It'll be on screen, also be in the description, and probably in the pinned comment too. Because considering I'm going to be there, I'm going to be trying to post updates from it as soon as I can. I'm going to be posting them like we have like distinct roles for like news for each cartoon where we ping them if there's like a new Hazbin Hotel or Helluva Boss update or a digital circus or stuff like that. So if you want to find out the latest updates, join my server, get yourself those ping roles, and we will be notifying you as soon as there's a new update. And also just generally, if you want to have a fun community to talk about your interests with, stuff like that, it's a great place, trust me. You will not want to miss out. And yeah, that's really all I have to say for this video. If you enjoyed me rambling, feel free to like and subscribe. I am very, very close to 200,000 subscribers. I'm like less than 3,000 away at the time of recording this. So please subscribe. Every bit of support helps, like genuinely. I don't know what to say. I'm so grateful that I'm even at a number of subscribers as high as this. I never really thought I would get this far when I was like started making videos a long time ago. But hey, thank you all for the support. Let's get to 200,000, hopefully before, I want to say, the end of May. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!